Rosie Perez, though, I don't understand what everybody saw in her, but people were crazy about it.
Yeah, White Man Can't Jump. So what'd you think about the movie?
I felt like it was, I don't know. I felt like it was hypocritical.
Okay. Why?
To say white men can't jump.
The title itself was genius. They took a stereotype and made a movie about a stereotype and proved that white men could jump on the movie. I thought that was genius.
I mean, you gotta love Woody Harrelson. He's just like, it's like he's not even acting. He's just like, it's like he's not even acting.
Yes.
Yo, Rosie Perez, though, I don't understand what everybody saw in her, but people were crazy about it. And she had like a deep voice and...
Rosie Perez is bad, bro. What you talking about, man?
See, if I'm thirsty, I don't want you to bring me a glass of water. I want you to sympathize. I want you to say, Gloria, I too know what it feels like to be thirsty. I too have had a dry mouth. I want you to connect with me.
And she was back
she was
then,
funny, considered funny too.
Well, back then you gotta see where Rosie Perez came from. So before then she was on
Soul Train?
She was on Soul Train.
For real?
Yes. Rosie Perez was on Soul Train. She was on In Living Color. And so she was known as a dancer before, but like she wasn't known, like she wasn't commercial at that point. But Rosie Perez was like a representative of Puerto Rican, New York, what New York considers beauty, which is Puerto Rican, Spanish people. Like
super in that movie, the basketball, because even, man, New York basketball courts love Spanish.
I want to say the first person to put Rosie Perez on was
Fabulous.
Was Spike Lee. Yeah. So Spike Lee, him growing up in that culture, when you talk to New Yorkers, they always talk about women. And anytime they talk about women, it's like Spanish. Mm-hmm. It has to have Spanish involved in it, even though Spanish is not even Spanish is what they speak. Mm-hmm. But it would have to have Latinos involved in some type of way when they talk about beauty and they talk about women.
Yeah, well, even in hip hop and through, the Ruckers, even Fat Joe, I have just, bro, it's crazy how uncultured you can be while everything being right in front of you. Even Bobbito on NBA Street and all that, and the black and Spanish, like, bow!
Yeah. Yep, you had Stretch and Bobbito was known for being on the radio.
Hip-hop,
Bobbito was a hooper, though. A lot of people don't know that. There's like a whole documentary about him hooping. It might not be about him, but it's about, he's in the documentary. Mm-hmm. But he was a hooper. So it's like, yeah, you had a lot of, and even if you go back to breakdancing and all that, you had a lot of Latino influence and all that, like Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. So she was just one of those ones that kind of, the way she talked, the best example of her would be what's going on now would be Cardi B. Not that Rosie Perez came from the strip club, but the way their accent and everything,
and
it kind of
attitude.
Exactly, it was kind of like
oh, Miss Rosie Perez. I need me. Oh.
Now you like her. You were just talking like You were just talking like she wasn't fly.
I just seen this thing where she like gave me this like quirky face, right? And like threw a jacket over her shoulder and like gave me the cutest smile and told me to kick rocks in the most polite way as I watched her hips move away.
Wow, that's deep. Rosie Perez was fly though. She was fly back then.
It was fly as hell what I just envisioned.
No, what you envision is I don't know what that is, but
Lordy.
No, this is the question. Could Wesley Snipes really hoop?
No! his body type. Why did that was the weirdest? Well, and even like leaving him out of it, the casting was honestly both of them was kind of weird castings. Besides, like, and they played like silly 30-year-olds. Like,
I'm gonna just leave it up there. Give me some. Give me some. You know I get. Oh. Oh.
Yeah, and this is also the difference between if you watch Above the Rim or any basketball films that are on the East Coast. I don't care what year it is.
uh-huh.
And then you watch White Man Can't Jump, of course, is on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So they like hoop at the beach and stuff. It's just a
Exactly,
little bit weird.
yeah.
Like, yeah, it's like
It's
hard
not
to get
fun.
used to.
Like, I don't know. It was like really. It was like a lighthearted drama.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I mean, okay. Well, what makes? I almost feel like the saying has outlived the movie.
Oh, that White Man Can't Jump.
I feel like it's kind of like the song "Short People Have No Reason to Live," where people think that it's bashing short people.
Yeah, the White Man Can't Jump. I think I'll just say the White Man Can't Jump. The saying
Is
it was something that came far before the movie and will live far after the movie.
right.
The movie wasn't that great to say
Yeah.
the movie is gonna last forever, but
There's been a lot of white boys who can hoop though. So
and there's been some athletic ones also. Yeah. So
who was the last one who could jump though?
well, it depends on who.
Tyler Hero. He's more of a shooter kind of guy.
Man, why you gonna bring that man's name up, bruh?
What's so funny about Tyler Hero?
Why you bringing him up?
Bro,
though?
Jack Harlow just put him in the music video. Woo.
If we gonna stick to the '90s, I would say somebody like Rex Chapman was athletic, and there's been some athletic ones. You know, Tom Chambers was early though. He was even earlier than the '90s.
But even Jason
like
Kidd,
the-
Jason Kidd, Jason Williams, them they wasn't.
Jason Williams wasn't. Jason Kidd is black, first of all.
Oh God,
Man, this is
He's
disrespectful.
mixed.
You might as well say Blake Griffin then.
Blake Griffin can
He
dunk.
white now? Blake Griffin's
He's-
white?
Bro, no, his hair's too black.
And you said Jason Kidd is white.
That was a mistake.
No, it ain't. We leaving that in. So Jason
Hell
Kidd, no,
no.
you called him a white boy.
No, bro. That was just a quick one.
Yeah, but no, I do think it's because we talked about this before with like we mentioned before about Breaking, and I've had arguments about this Breaking and Breaking 2, the movies, and Beat Street, how Breaking was on the West Coast and the way it looked, the way the movie looked, because it was on the West Coast and breakdancers was influenced a lot by Mexicans. So on the West Coast, you see the way they dressed was different than breakdancers on the East Coast. And then you start looking at White Man Can't Jump and the way they dress when they hoop. And then you look at
Because they
East
had
Coast.
silly, colorful caps and all
like
that.
those flip up, those
Oh,
flip up
man.
hats. I ain't never seen nobody hooping that.
Give me my money. Shit. Hard goddamn work.
I ain't never seen nobody hooping a hat,
And a
first of all.
yeah.
He was hooping in a flip
And
up
like
hat.
literally, it's the only way you can even picture him in the movie is hooping with a.
Yeah, he wasn't. And the crazy thing ain't Wesley Snipes. He's from New York.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't he from New York? So it was kind of weird to see him, in that movie,
acting like a Cali guy.
acting like he could. It was kind of weird to see him acting like he could hoop. He is an actor, but the hooping part looked kind of weird,
Yo, we had a black scary movie where he wasn't the first person getting killed. He was actually the killer.
Candyman.
And like super, like there's people who would have believed the Candyman is an ancient like story. Cause even for my generation, here's what you do, kids. You go to the bathroom, you turn the light off, and you say, The Candyman can. How many times? Look up specific instructions. Make sure you're doing it right. It's a rite of passage to do this, and it's from this film. Am I correct?
Yes, and people are doing it on TikTok right now.
For real?
Yeah, they're doing it in the bathroom on TikTok right now. I've seen it on there.
Have you ever heard of Candyman? If you look in the mirror, you say his name 5 times.
In cities everywhere,
Candyman.
they whisper his name.
What you doing on TikTok, man?
Well, I wasn't actually on TikTok, but I could see it on people shared it. But even if I was, it doesn't matter.
This nigga TikToking, yo. Tell him what your TikTok is. At B.
But there's of course a new Candyman coming out.
Candyman, 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 Candyman.
Well, we're still alive.
Produced by
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele.
Oh my God,
So-
I can't stand his
and
ass.
it's using, I believe they're using the
I
same
bet you
actor.
love Jordan Peele.
I believe they're using the same actor from before. You don't like Jordan Peele? Jordan
I
Peele's
did.
a genius.
I never really did, honestly. I thought Key and Peele was a Dave Chappelle ripoff, and I don't like scary movies.
I could tell you're influenced a lot by what they say in the media. But Dave Chappelle, they did steal his format, but that don't mean they weren't funny. They were actually funny to me.
I watched them.
But yeah, Candyman, I've never seen it, so you would have to speak on that.
You've never seen it?
I've never seen Candyman. Candyman did take place in Chicago and Cabrini Green, I believe.
In the projects.
We can fact check that.
It was like, I guess he was terrorizing black people too, and it had a gritty kind of still street feel to it. But like the bees, oh man, his hook, I'd just be fucking, I was terrified as a kid. Scariest scary movie. I still feel the fear. I remember doing it in my dad's basement, trying just all the kids from the neighborhood being over.
Yeah. I'm not in the movies like that kind of movie.
You don't even know what kind of yo.
I do know what kind of movie it
Let's
is.
talk about this. What we need to stop doing is saying that we aren't into things we never seen before and all that kind of shit. We're closing our mind and our doors to things that we might like. How the fuck does he know what type of movie it was?
I absolutely closed the door to certain things. I only have 24 hours in a day.
Close the
Not
door.
spending 2 hours watching something
That's the
that
only
I'm not
time I
interested
close the door.
in. Yeah.
Close the door. Back to where we were. Yo, Malcolm X. I didn't watch it until last year. And that's Malcolm X's story. I feel so dumb for not fully, but this is what school and stuff like that. And they downplay Malcolm X. The way that he is projected is somebody who just wanted black people to go and make their own country or whatever else. And it is so much deeper than that. And it is to cover up. And they almost downplay it on the movie. There's a lot of downplaying, and I like that about that movie on Malcolm X. They just let you see what happens. And I don't know how movie makers do this, because some of them will directly tell you what you're supposed to think. And then some scenes will leave it up to your imagination. I don't know if it's something that they do with the wording.
I think
Go.
So let me give you a little bit of context as far as Malcolm X goes.
Okay.
You have to think about, when you think about the history of America and how the brainwashing of the people in America, you have to include Hollywood. Spike Lee had to raise money to shoot Malcolm X. He couldn't just get money from the studios to shoot a film like that because they don't trust that he's gonna say the things that
they want him to say.
Basically, like Malcolm, you got to think back then. Malcolm X is a polarizing figure. Like, so
A terrorist seen as.
exactly. So you're gonna tell that story, and you're gonna be black and tell that story. Then they feel like maybe you'll tell who. I don't know if you've seen the documentary of Malcolm X that's on Netflix, which
Yeah,
is
of
really
course,
good.
where they try to figure out who killed him.
Exactly. They don't want none of that in the movie.
Well, neither does the Nation of Islam, but that's a.
But the Nation of Islam did sign off on Malcolm X. I think he did.
They
If
had
I
to
re-
sign off. They
I re-
got paid off of it.
Well, whenever you start making movies and you putting people in movies that are still alive, you have to do your due diligence. You can maybe be sued for defamation of character or something like that. So I remember him like going to the Nation of Islam and asking their blessing to actually make the film. It was something like that. He did have a conversation with them because, again, what you have to think about in the 90s it wasn't there was still. Just think about it this way, and I think I might have said it on another episode, but in the 90s, there was still organized crime. So if organized crime still existed, like John Gotti got locked up in in 92. He went
There's
to prison
still
in 92.
organized crime.
No, I'm saying
But
it
that's
was on
like a higher scale than what exists now?
I'm saying it wasn't a secret. Like the old guard wasn't a secret. So you could say something about somebody in the movie and you could disappear.
Literally.
You and maybe I don't know what the date with this movie is, but we'll talk about this movie eventually. Is what's the movie about the Mexican gangs in jail? American Me. Have you heard of that movie? Mm-mm. Okay, that's good that you haven't heard of it. But American Me is another one of those movies that was about the Mexican mob and in jails and all that, and people were disappearing because of the way they showed.
They were disclosing too much.
They were disclosing information about people that was making them look bad and maybe wasn't all the way accurate, and people started disappearing. Like actors started disappearing. This is real life. So you have to
look that up.
You gotta be you have to be careful when you're making films because films have more of an impact on America than the president going up and doing a debate in front of you. It doesn't
at
last
that
as
point
long.
in time.
No, at the point in time of the debate, like how many are you going to listen to
The 1992 debate.
Kennedy's debate you're
Nowhere near it.
You're not going to listen to Nixon and Kennedy, but you'll go back and watch an old movie and now plant a seed in your mind that puts you in that place. So Spike Lee had to be careful. You know, who's going to protect Spike Lee? If he makes somebody else mad and that other person he makes mad is a black person, who's going to be there to protect him? You think corporate America is going to, at that time, is going to protect Spike Lee? No. If something happened to him, it just happens to him. So he had to be careful. Like that.
Has he spoken on that?
I remember him at the time saying something like he did get clearance from Nation of Islam.
Okay.
I don't know if they had anything to do with the editing and who they left out, because if you watch that movie real closely, it's kind of hard to tell who Farrakhan is in that movie. Like Farrakhan's there, but who is he in the movie? So
I didn't feel, but maybe because he was one of the, I just used my already known knowledge and just didn't think twice about it.
Yeah, I mean, after you watch the documentary, you realize that not a lot of that stuff was in the actual film. Like the guy he met in jail ended up murdered.
Wait. I'm getting Elijah Muhammad confused with Louis Farrakhan because they didn't give Louis Farrakhan. You're right.
Right. You don't know who Farrakhan really is in the movie, and of course he wasn't in the position he's in now, but he was moving in that direction. Obviously, because after Elijah Muhammad, Farrakhan became the central figure. It doesn't show it in the movie, and maybe he didn't want to be shown in the movie. I don't know. But just know that there was probably some politics behind that, behind the scenes.
A lot of it, yeah.
You can show this, but you can't show that. I mean, that's kind of the way movies go because it has such an impact on.
So you get to tell a half truth? I'm not done with Malcolm X yet.
Yeah, go ahead. You get to tell a no. I mean, because a movie can't cover everything specific. Like there's some things you just don't know. There's some things Spike Lee doesn't know.
There's some things Spike Lee don't know.
There's some things that he's not gonna know for fact about the Nation of Islam. There's things he's not gonna know for fact about Malcolm X. He can read the autobiography of Malcolm X, but there's things he's not gonna know. That's still a book by Alex Haley. He's not gonna know for a fact this is how Malcolm X felt at this time. Mm-hmm. He's trying to make a film, but he's not trying to ruffle feathers to the point where...
I think it was they killed Malcolm X because of how he felt. Do you feel like the
that's
feds...
in the film, though.
Do you feel like the feds in the... Well, no, I wouldn't quite say that, because they don't quite give a reason, but do you feel like the feds and the Nation of Islam work together? I'm just saying, what they showed him doing at the end of the movie, okay, right before he got assassinated, was going to every African country and rallying up all the black people of the world, which small-minded people prior to him and after had been focusing on Black Americans, but we're called African Americans. So, in us going and allying as many people with the same skin color as possible and bringing them to fight this battle, or getting them together to fight the battle in the world, at least America couldn't handle that kind of unionization.
These are the questions you and I have to ask. How did we get this mind? You're not an American. You're an African who happens to be an American.
I don't have any... Look, but that was the main thing that I saw at the end, and I'm like, man, that's so brilliant. And even like what we talk about, it takes a nation of... And all these, He was taking that idea to a whole other level. He was literally trying to create a black utopia.
Yeah, I don't. Well, black nationalism, is one of those things that was mainly his.
You're calling it black.
Black nationalism is what he
around the
believed
world.
In. Right. The government has a way of doing this. Like if you have an enemy, right, and they do this in jail to this day. If you have an enemy, and they see that your enemy can take you out, they'll just allow it to happen. Mm-hmm. And they'll keep their hands clean. And they won't even investigate it. It's what happened with Tupac.
It's done over and over again.
It's what happened with Tupac and Biggie.
Yeah.
It's done over and over again. And now you hear it in jails. You hear from people in jail saying that they're purposely like putting Crips in the same section as Bloods and things like that to make them to cause violence on purpose. I think, of course, the government and the police had an informant on the Nation of Islam side within the Nation of Islam. He was there when Malcolm X got killed, so he had to know information beforehand. I can't say that the people who killed Malcolm X was directly from the Nation of Islam, but I think it's pretty.
They'd be like, who?
We pretty much
we don't know that guy.
Yeah, we pretty much know that the police and the government knew what was going to happen. Regardless, they knew what was going to happen, and they allowed it to happen, which makes them complicit, which is just as bad as doing it yourself.
All these labels, I can believe that something wasn't right about a situation or misleading without being a conspiracy theorist. And I can believe certain parts of things without, you know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm sitting here telling people Sandy Hook didn't happen or anything like that. Like,
that's what y'all be saying though when y'all get high.
No, that's what conspiracy theorists say. I'm not
they
one of them.
They get high first though.
You're missing the point. You're missing the point. But so, the thing about it, do you ever go over to Africa? Do you have any look, you're super pro-black, right?
No, don't label me, sir.
I'm not.
I'm just black. I'm just black.
Okay, well, so even as a black person, you probably is like, I'm black. I'm black from head to... to freaking Cap looking at. No, but here's my whole thing. You still probably associate with the white guy more than somebody from Africa. You're probably going to have more in common.
Right, because I'm American.
And
culturally.
once we disintegrate that wall and be like, we are black, like what Malcolm X was trying to do, that shit is powerful and scary. Unless they crumble within themselves like the Nation of Islam did. But he was building such a strong and universal worldwide thing where like, and that is scary and bigger than anybody's plans I've seen ever, and really breaks the biggest barrier between us truly understanding our blackness. And that shit is scary.
Yeah. I think he did. We know for a fact that he scared some people, and that we know for a fact that the FBI was monitoring him. We know that the police didn't like him.
I had chills after that and that they killed him after that, bro. Because he was meeting with all these people. He knew.
He knew that he was going to die. So, and they were complicit in that. And I just think that is enough information.
He was almost complicit in it.
Brother, please, hold on. Calm down, please, brother.
Oh my God, it's a problem!
Yo, it's Brandon Daz Exotic, whatever you want to call it. Subscribe to our YouTube. Link below. Yo, time flies. So.
Time flies.